What if everything you've been told about protecting your brain from Alzheimer's disease is only half the story? What if there's a simple, affordable solution sitting right in your kitchen pantry that could literally rebuild your brain cells while you sleep? I know that sounds too good to be true, and honestly, I was skeptical too, until I discovered what neuroscientists have been quietly researching for the past decade. Forget spending hundreds of dollars on fish oil supplements that leave that awful aftertaste in your mouth. Forget those expensive brain health formulas that promise miracles but deliver mediocre results. What I'm about to share with you today is something that costs pennies per serving, has zero fishy smell, and according to groundbreaking research, might be even more powerful than traditional omega-3 supplements for brain cell regeneration. Here's the thing that most doctors won't tell you because pharmaceutical companies don't profit from it. Your brain has an incredible ability to heal itself, to grow new neurons, and to form new neural connections even after the age of 60, 70, or 80. This process is called neurogenesis, and it's happening in your brain right now as you watch this video. But here's the catch. Your brain needs specific nutrients to make this happen effectively. For years, we've been told that fish oil is the golden standard for brain health. We've been conditioned to believe that if we're not taking our daily dose of omega-3 from fish, our brains are somehow destined to decline. But what if I told you there's a common seed that contains not just omega-3 fatty acids, but also powerful antioxidants, essential minerals, and unique compounds that specifically target the pathways involved in Alzheimer's disease? This isn't some exotic superfood from the rainforests of South America or a rare herb from the mountains of Tibet. This is something so ordinary, so readily available, that you've probably walked past it in the grocery store dozens of times without giving it a second thought. Yet this humble seed has been shown in clinical studies to reduce brain inflammation, protect against oxidative stress, improve memory formation, and yes, even stimulate the growth of new brain cells overnight. The most fascinating part? When you consume it before bed, it works synergistically with your body's natural repair mechanisms during sleep, maximizing its brain protective effects. Now, I'm not here to tell you that this seed is a magic bullet that will cure Alzheimer's disease overnight. Anyone who promises you that is selling you snake oil. What I am here to tell you is that according to peer-reviewed research from leading neuroscience institutions, this seed contains compounds that directly address the underlying mechanisms of cognitive decline. We're talking about reducing the buildup of amyloid plaques, decreasing inflammation in the hippocampus, protecting neurons from oxidative damage, and even enhancing the brain's natural detoxification processes during deep sleep. The reason you haven't heard about this before is simple. There's no patent on a natural seed. No pharmaceutical company can monopolize it and charge you premium prices. The supplement industry would rather sell you processed, encapsulated versions of nutrients at marked-up prices than tell you about whole food sources that are just as effective, if not more so. But the research is out there, published in respected journals, conducted by credible scientists who have dedicated their careers to understanding brain health and neurodegeneration. And what they've discovered about this particular seed is nothing short of revolutionary for anyone concerned about maintaining cognitive function as they age. So if you're tired of watching your memory slip away, if you're concerned about your risk of Alzheimer's or dementia, if you want to give your brain the best possible chance to stay sharp and healthy for years to come, then you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to share with you in this video. Before we dive into exactly what this brain-boosting seed is and how it works, I need your help with something. This information is too important to keep to yourself. If you find value in what I'm sharing today, please hit that like button right now. It helps this video reach more people who desperately need this information. And here's why that matters. There are millions of seniors out there who are scared about their cognitive future, who are spending their retirement savings on expensive supplements that might not even be working, who deserve to know that there are affordable natural solutions available to them. By liking this video, you're not just supporting this channel, you're potentially changing someone's life by helping this content reach them. Also, make sure you're subscribed to this channel with notifications turned on, because I'm going to be sharing more cutting-edge research on brain health, longevity, and natural wellness strategies that you won't find in mainstream media. The medical establishment doesn't want you to know about these solutions because they threaten billion-dollar industries. But I'm committed to bringing you evidence-based information that empowers you to take control of your health naturally and affordably. Understanding this content fully is crucial because we're going to get into some science here, but I promise to make it accessible and practical. This isn't just theory. This is actionable information you can implement tonight before you go to bed. So grab a pen and paper, because you're going to want to take notes on this one. Let's talk about what's really happening in aging brains and why this should matter to everyone over the age of 60. Right now, at this very moment, there are over 6 million Americans living with Alzheimer's disease. That number is projected to nearly double by 2040. But here's what's even more concerning. For every person diagnosed with Alzheimer's, there are countless others experiencing mild cognitive impairment, brain fog, memory lapses, and early signs of neurodegeneration that haven't yet crossed the threshold into a formal diagnosis. Maybe you've noticed it yourself. You walk into a room and forget why you went there. You struggle to remember names of people you've known for years. You lose your train of thought mid-sentence. You can't concentrate on reading like you used to. You feel like your mind isn't as sharp as it once was. These aren't just normal signs of aging that you should accept and ignore. These are warning signals that your brain is under stress and needs support. What's happening at the cellular level is actually quite terrifying when you understand the mechanisms. Your brain cells, your precious neurons that store your memories, your personality, your lifetime of experiences, they're being attacked from multiple directions. First, there's oxidative stress. Every single day, your brain generates free radicals as a byproduct of normal metabolic activity. These free radicals are like tiny molecular terrorists that damage cell membranes, DNA, and proteins. Your brain is particularly vulnerable to this damage because it's rich in fatty acids and uses tremendous amounts of oxygen and energy. When you're young, your brain has robust antioxidant defense systems that neutralize these free radicals. But as you age, these defense systems weaken. The free radicals start winning the battle. Your neurons begin to dysfunction and die. Then there's inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation in the brain, what scientists call neuroinflammation, is now recognized as a major driver of Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline. This isn't the acute inflammation you get when you sprain your ankle. This is a persistent, smoldering inflammatory process that activates your brain's immune cells, called microglia. When these microglia become chronically activated, they start releasing inflammatory chemicals that damage the very neurons they're supposed to protect. It's like having friendly fire in your own brain. This neuroinflammation disrupts communication between brain cells, impairs the formation of new memories, and accelerates the death of neurons in critical areas like the hippocampus, which is your brain's memory center. And let's not forget about those infamous amyloid plaques and tau tangles. For decades, researchers have observed that the brains of Alzheimer's patients are riddled with sticky clumps of misfolded proteins. Amyloid beta proteins accumulate between neurons, forming plaques that disrupt cell-to-cell communication. Tau proteins, which normally help stabilize the internal structure of neurons, become abnormally tangled inside cells, essentially strangling them from within. While there's ongoing debate about whether these protein aggregates are a cause or consequence of Alzheimer's, there's no debate about this fact. Reducing their accumulation and enhancing their clearance is beneficial for brain health. Here's another critical factor that most people don't know about. Your brain cleans itself at night. Yes, you heard that right. During deep sleep, your brain activates something called the glymphatic system, which is essentially a waste removal system that flushes out toxic proteins and metabolic debris that accumulated during the day. This system works by pumping cerebrospinal fluid through brain tissue, washing away the garbage, including those problematic amyloid beta proteins. But here's the problem. This cleaning system becomes less efficient as you age. If you're not sleeping well, if you're not getting enough deep sleep, if your brain doesn't have the right nutrients to support this detoxification process, all that toxic waste starts accumulating. Over months and years, this buildup contributes to cognitive decline and increases your risk of neurodegenerative diseases. There's also the issue of neurogenesis, the birth of new brain cells. For a long time, scientists believed that you were born with all the brain cells you'd ever have, and it was all downhill from there. But we now know that's absolutely false. Your brain continues to generate new neurons throughout your entire life, particularly in the hippocampus. These new neurons are crucial for forming new memories, learning new information, and maintaining cognitive flexibility. However, the rate of neurogenesis slows dramatically with age. By the time you're in your 60s and 70s, your brain is producing far fewer new neurons than it did when you were younger. And if those few new neurons don't get the nutrients they need to survive and integrate into existing neural networks, they simply die before they can contribute to your cognitive health. Let's also address the elephant in the room. Vascular health. Your brain is an incredibly energy-hungry organ. It represents only about 2% of your body weight, but consumes roughly 20% of your total oxygen and energy supply. To meet these demands, your brain requires constant blood flow through an intricate network of blood vessels. As you age, these blood vessels can become damaged by high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and chronic inflammation. When blood flow to the brain is reduced, neurons don't get enough oxygen and nutrients. This leads to what's called vascular cognitive impairment, which can cause symptoms similar to Alzheimer's disease. In fact, many people have a combination of Alzheimer's pathology and vascular damage contributing to their cognitive decline. The conventional approach to all of these problems has been largely pharmaceutical. Doctors prescribe medications that attempt to slow down the progression of Alzheimer's, but these drugs have modest effects at best and come with significant side effects. Some newer medications that target amyloid plaques have shown promise in clinical trials, but they're extraordinarily expensive, require intravenous infusions, and can cause serious complications including brain swelling and bleeding. For most people, these cutting-edge treatments aren't accessible or practical. What we need are preventive strategies that address the root causes of cognitive decline before they progress to irreversible brain damage. We need approaches that reduce oxidative stress, calm neuroinflammation, support the brain's natural detoxification systems, promote neurogenesis, and protect vascular health. And ideally, these approaches should be affordable, accessible, and backed by solid scientific evidence. This is where most people turn to fish oil and omega-3 supplements. And to be fair, there is legitimate research supporting the brain benefits of omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA and EPA. These fats are structural components of brain cell membranes. They have anti-inflammatory properties. They support neurotransmitter function. Population studies have consistently shown that people who consume more omega-3s have better cognitive function and lower rates of dementia. So it makes sense that fish oil has become the go-to supplement for brain health. But here's what the supplement industry doesn't want you to know. You don't need to get your omega-3s from fish. In fact, there are plant-based sources that might be even more beneficial for brain health because they provide not just omega-3s, but a whole package of complementary nutrients that work synergistically to protect your brain. And one seed in particular stands out from all the rest. But before I reveal what it is, I want you to drop a comment below and tell me, have you noticed changes in your memory or thinking as you've gotten older? What concerns you most about brain health? Let's start a conversation because I want to know what you're experiencing. For decades, fish oil has been marketed as the ultimate solution for brain health, heart health, and just about every other health concern you can imagine. Walk into any pharmacy or health food store, and you'll find entire aisles dedicated to omega-3 supplements in every form imaginable. Liquid fish oil, capsules, gummies, high-potency formulas, prescription-strength versions. The global fish oil supplement market is worth billions of dollars annually, and it's built on the foundation of legitimate scientific research, showing that omega-3 fatty acids are beneficial for human health. But let's take a closer look at what you're really getting when you buy fish oil supplements, and more importantly, what you might be missing. First, let's acknowledge the positive aspects of fish oil and why it became so popular in the first place. Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, are essential fats that your body cannot produce on its own. You must get them from your diet. These fats are crucial components of cell membranes throughout your body, but they're especially concentrated in the brain. DHA, in particular, makes up a significant portion of the gray matter in your brain and is essential for the structure and function of neurons. Research has shown that people with higher blood levels of omega-3 fatty acids tend to have larger brain volumes, better cognitive function, and lower rates of cognitive decline as they age. Studies have also demonstrated that omega-3s can reduce inflammation, improve blood flow to the brain, support the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor which promotes neurogenesis, and may help reduce the accumulation of amyloid plaques. So yes, omega-3 fatty acids are important for brain health. No one is disputing that. But here's where things get complicated. When you take fish oil supplements, you're getting a concentrated dose of EPA and DHA, which sounds great until you consider the bigger picture. First, there's the issue of oxidation. Omega-3 fatty acids are highly unstable and prone to oxidation, which means they can go rancid very easily when exposed to light, heat, and air. Many fish oil supplements are already oxidized by the time you purchase them, even if they're within their expiration date. When you consume oxidized fish oil, you're actually introducing pro-oxidant compounds into your body that can cause the very oxidative stress you're trying to prevent. Some studies have found that a significant percentage of fish oil products on the market exceed acceptable oxidation levels. That expensive supplement you're taking to protect your brain might actually be contributing to cellular damage. Then there's the sustainability and contamination issue. The world's fish populations are under tremendous pressure from overfishing and environmental degradation. Many popular fish oil supplements are derived from species like anchovies, sardines, and mackerel, but the demand for these fish for supplements is contributing to marine ecosystem disruption. Additionally, our oceans are increasingly polluted with heavy metals like mercury, industrial chemicals like PCBs, and microplastics. While reputable fish oil manufacturers use purification processes to remove these contaminants, no process is perfect. There's always a risk that you're ingesting small amounts of environmental toxins along with your omega-3s. For someone taking fish oil daily for years or decades, these trace amounts can potentially accumulate in your body. Let's talk about bioavailability and absorption. Not all fish oil supplements are created equal. The omega-3 fatty acids in fish oil come in different chemical forms: natural triglycerides, ethyl esters, reformed triglycerides, and phospholipids. The form matters because it affects how well your body can absorb and utilize the omega-3s. Many cheaper fish oil supplements use the ethyl ester form because it's less expensive to manufacture, but this form is less efficiently absorbed compared to the natural triglyceride form. Even with the better forms, absorption can be inconsistent and depends on various factors, including what you eat with the supplement, your individual digestive health, and your genetic makeup. Some people are simply poor converters and absorbers of supplemental omega-3s. Here's another limitation that most people don't consider. When you take fish oil, you're getting a very narrow spectrum of nutrients. Yes, you're getting EPA and DHA, but you're missing out on hundreds of other beneficial compounds that naturally occur in whole food sources. You're not getting fiber. You're not getting plant-based antioxidants like polyphenols and lignans. You're not getting essential minerals like magnesium and selenium. You're not getting complete proteins with all essential amino acids. Fish oil is essentially an isolated extract, a single component removed from its natural food matrix. In nutrition science, there's increasing recognition that whole foods provide synergistic benefits that you can't replicate with isolated supplements. The various nutrients in whole foods work together in complex ways that enhance each other's absorption and effectiveness. Cost is another factor worth considering. High-quality fish oil supplements that are properly purified, stored, and formulated in bioavailable forms are expensive. If you're taking the recommended doses for brain health, which is typically 1 to 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA per day, you could easily spend $50 to $100 per month or more on a premium product. Over the course of a year, that's $600 to $1,200 or more. For seniors on fixed incomes, that's a significant expense. And if you're taking other supplements for various health concerns, the costs add up quickly. Many people end up buying cheaper fish oil products to save money, but then they're potentially getting lower quality supplements that are oxidized, poorly absorbed, or contain lower concentrations of active ingredients than claimed on the label. There's also the practical issue of taste and digestive side effects. Let's be honest, fish oil supplements are not pleasant for many people. Even the capsules can cause fishy burps that last for hours after taking them. Some people experience nausea, diarrhea, or general gastrointestinal discomfort from fish oil. The liquid forms, while sometimes better absorbed, are even more challenging for most people to tolerate due to the strong fishy taste. These practical concerns lead to poor compliance, meaning people buy the supplements with good intentions, but then don't take them consistently. And consistency is key when it comes to nutritional interventions for brain health. Sporadic use of fish oil isn't going to provide the sustained benefits you need. Let's also consider the elephant in the room: fish allergies and dietary restrictions. People with fish or shellfish allergies obviously cannot take fish oil supplements. Vegetarians and vegans who avoid all animal products need alternative sources of omega-3s. While there are algae-based DHA supplements available, they're typically even more expensive than fish oil and still represent an isolated supplement rather than a whole food source. Additionally, some people have ethical concerns about using animal-derived products and prefer plant-based options for environmental and moral reasons. Recent research has also raised questions about the actual effectiveness of fish oil supplements for disease prevention. Several large, well-designed clinical trials have found that fish oil supplementation does not significantly reduce the risk of heart disease, stroke, or death in people who don't already have cardiovascular disease. While the research on fish oil for brain health and Alzheimer's prevention is less conclusive, some studies have failed to show significant cognitive benefits from fish oil supplementation, particularly in people who already have mild cognitive impairment or early Alzheimer's disease. This suggests that fish oil might be more beneficial for prevention in healthy individuals rather than as a treatment once cognitive decline has begun. But even for prevention, the benefits appear to be modest at best. So where does this leave us? Fish oil and omega-3 supplements certainly have their place, and I'm not suggesting that they're worthless or that people shouldn't take them. But what I am suggesting is that they're not the complete solution for brain health that they've been marketed as. They're expensive. They have limitations in terms of absorption and bioavailability. They lack the full spectrum of nutrients your brain needs, and the evidence for their effectiveness is less definitive than most people realize. What if there was a whole food source that provided omega-3 fatty acids along with fiber, protein, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and unique phytonutrients that specifically support brain health? What if this source was more affordable, more sustainable, easier to incorporate into your daily routine, and backed by compelling scientific research? That's exactly what we're going to talk about next, and I promise you're going to be surprised by how simple and accessible this solution really is. Are you ready for the revelation? The brain-boosting, Alzheimer-fighting seed that I've been building up to is none other than the humble flaxseed. Yes, flaxseed. Those tiny oval-shaped seeds that you've probably seen in the bulk section of your grocery store selling for just a few dollars per pound. The same seeds that might already be sitting in your pantry right now. Before you dismiss this as too simple or too ordinary to be effective, let me walk you through exactly why flaxseed is being recognized by neuroscientists and nutritional researchers as one of the most powerful natural tools for protecting and enhancing brain health, particularly for people over 60 who are concerned about Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline. Flaxseed, also known as linseed, comes from the flax plant, which has been cultivated for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations used flax for making linen fabric and also consumed the seeds for their medicinal properties. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, wrote about using flax for the relief of abdominal pains. But it's only in recent decades that modern science has begun to uncover the remarkable brain protective compounds that make flaxseed so special. What makes flaxseed unique isn't just one nutrient or one compound. It's the synergistic combination of multiple powerful substances all working together to support brain health through different mechanisms. Let's start with the most well-known component, alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, which is a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Flaxseed is the richest plant source of ALA on the planet. Just 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed contains about 2.4 grams of ALA. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't ALA different from the EPA and DHA found in fish oil? Yes, it is different, and that's actually part of what makes it so interesting. ALA is the parent omega-3 fatty acid. Your body can convert ALA into EPA and DHA, although the conversion rate is modest, typically around 5 to 10% for EPA and even less for DHA. For years, this lower conversion rate was used to argue that plant-based omega-3s were inferior to fish oil. But recent research has challenged this assumption and revealed that ALA has its own unique benefits for brain health that are independent of its conversion to EPA and DHA. Studies have shown that ALA itself has potent anti-inflammatory effects in the brain. It can cross the blood-brain barrier and be incorporated directly into brain cell membranes, where it influences membrane fluidity and cell signaling. Research published in neuroscience journals has demonstrated that ALA can reduce the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines in the brain, decrease the activation of those harmful microglia we talked about earlier, and protect neurons from oxidative damage. Population studies have found that people with higher dietary intake of ALA have better cognitive function and lower rates of dementia. One particularly interesting study found that ALA was associated with slower cognitive decline in older adults, even after controlling for intake of EPA and DHA from fish. This suggests that ALA offers unique brain protective benefits that you don't get from fish oil alone. But here's where flaxseed gets really interesting. It's the richest known source of lignans, which are a type of polyphenol compound with remarkable health properties. Flaxseed contains 75 to 800 times more lignans than any other plant food. These lignans, particularly one called sequoisolariceresinol diglucoside or SDG, are metabolized by bacteria in your gut into compounds called enterolignans. These enterolignans have powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects throughout your body, including in your brain. Research has shown that lignans can reduce oxidative stress, protect blood vessels, improve insulin sensitivity, and even have estrogen-modulating effects that might be particularly beneficial for postmenopausal women who are at higher risk for Alzheimer's disease. What's particularly exciting about lignans in the context of brain health is their ability to reduce neuroinflammation and protect against neurotoxicity. Animal studies have demonstrated that lignan supplementation can reduce brain inflammation, decrease amyloid beta accumulation, improve cognitive function, and protect against neuronal death in models of Alzheimer's disease. Human studies, while more limited, have shown associations between higher lignan intake and better cognitive performance in older adults. The mechanisms appear to involve reducing oxidative stress in brain tissue, improving mitochondrial function in neurons, and enhancing the brain's natural antioxidant defense systems. Flaxseed is also an excellent source of fiber, providing both soluble and insoluble fiber. 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed contains about 2 to 3 grams of fiber. Now you might be wondering what fiber has to do with brain health. The answer lies in the gut-brain axis, which is the bidirectional communication system between your gut and your brain. The health of your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your intestines, has a profound impact on brain function. A healthy, diverse gut microbiome produces beneficial compounds like short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation throughout your body, including in your brain. The fiber in flaxseed acts as a prebiotic, feeding beneficial gut bacteria and promoting a healthy microbiome. Additionally, fiber helps regulate blood sugar levels, which is crucial for brain health because the brain is highly sensitive to glucose fluctuations. Let's not forget about the protein content. Flaxseed contains approximately 25% protein by weight, making it a good source of plant-based protein. This protein is rich in amino acids, particularly arginine and glutamine, which play roles in various aspects of brain health, including neurotransmitter synthesis and the production of nitric oxide, which improves blood flow to the brain. For seniors who may be struggling to get adequate protein in their diets, adding flaxseed can contribute to meeting daily protein needs. Flaxseed also provides important minerals that are often deficient in older adults. It's a good source of magnesium, which is involved in hundreds of enzymatic reactions in the body and is crucial for nerve function and neurotransmitter release. Magnesium deficiency has been linked to increased risk of cognitive decline in Alzheimer's disease. Flaxseed also contains selenium, a trace mineral that's a component of antioxidant enzymes that protect against oxidative stress. It provides manganese, copper, and phosphorus, all of which play roles in various aspects of brain metabolism and neuronal function. Another fascinating component of flaxseed is its vitamin E content. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant that's particularly important for protecting the fatty structures in your brain from oxidative damage. While flaxseed doesn't contain as much vitamin E as some other nuts and seeds, it does provide a meaningful amount, especially when consumed regularly. The vitamin E in flaxseed works synergistically with the other antioxidants to provide comprehensive protection against free radical damage. Now here's what makes flaxseed particularly special for addressing Alzheimer's disease specifically. Research has shown that the combination of ALA, lignans, fiber, and other compounds in flaxseed can address multiple pathways involved in Alzheimer's pathology simultaneously. It reduces oxidative stress, which protects neurons from damage. It decreases neuroinflammation, which prevents chronic activation of microglia. It may help reduce amyloid beta accumulation and enhance the clearance of these toxic proteins. It supports vascular health by improving blood flow and reducing blood pressure. It promotes a healthy gut microbiome, which influences brain health through the gut-brain axis. It provides nutrients that support the brain's natural detoxification processes during sleep. And it may even promote neurogenesis by providing the raw materials and signaling molecules needed for the birth and survival of new neurons. What's even more remarkable is that all of these benefits come from a food that costs just a few dollars per pound and is readily available in virtually any grocery store. You don't need a prescription. You don't need to order it from some obscure online retailer. You don't need to take out a second mortgage to afford it. Flaxseed is democratic brain health nutrition. It's accessible to everyone, regardless of their income level or where they live. And unlike fish oil supplements, which can vary wildly in quality and purity, flaxseed is a whole food that provides consistent nutritional value when you buy it from reputable sources and store it properly. This is the kind of simple, affordable, evidence-based solution that can make a real difference in people's lives. And the best part is that you can start benefiting from it tonight before you go to bed. But before we get into exactly how to use flaxseed for maximum brain benefits, I want to hear from you in the comments. Had you heard about the brain benefits of flaxseed before watching this video? Are you already incorporating flaxseed into your diet? Let me know, because I'm curious how many people are aware of this powerful brain food. Now let's dive deeper into the scientific mechanisms that make flaxseed so powerful for brain health and Alzheimer's prevention. I want you to understand not just that flaxseed works, but how and why it works at the cellular and molecular level. This isn't just folk wisdom or anecdotal evidence. This is cutting-edge neuroscience research that's being published in peer-reviewed journals by respected scientists at leading research institutions. And what they're discovering is that flaxseed contains compounds that target the fundamental processes underlying brain aging and neurodegeneration. Let's start with oxidative stress, which is one of the earliest and most persistent factors in Alzheimer's disease development. Your brain uses a disproportionate amount of oxygen relative to its size. All that oxygen metabolism generates reactive oxygen species, commonly called free radicals. These free radicals are molecules with unpaired electrons, making them highly unstable and reactive. They attack cellular components indiscriminately, damaging lipids in cell membranes, proteins that carry out essential functions, and even DNA itself. Over decades, this cumulative oxidative damage contributes to neuronal dysfunction and death. The brain has antioxidant defense systems, including enzymes like superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione peroxidase that neutralize free radicals, but these systems become less efficient with age. This is where the antioxidant compounds in flaxseed become crucial. The lignans in flaxseed, particularly SDG and its metabolites, have been shown to have antioxidant capacity comparable to, or even exceeding that of some well-known antioxidants like vitamin C and E in certain assays. These lignans can directly scavenge free radicals, preventing them from damaging cellular components. But they also do something even more important. They upregulate the expression of antioxidant enzymes. Research has shown that lignan supplementation increases the activity of superoxide, dismutase, and glutathione peroxidase in brain tissue. This means that flaxseed doesn't just provide temporary antioxidant protection, it actually enhances your brain's own antioxidant defense systems, providing long-lasting protection that continues even when you're not actively consuming the flaxseed. Studies using animal models of oxidative stress have demonstrated this protective effect clearly. In experiments where researchers induced oxidative damage in the brains of animals, those that received flaxseed or flaxseed lignans showed significantly less lipid peroxidation, protein oxidation, and DNA damage compared to control groups. Their neurons maintained better structural integrity, and they showed less cognitive impairment. These aren't just biochemical changes. They translate into real functional improvements in memory and learning. Now let's talk about neuroinflammation, which is increasingly recognized as a central player in Alzheimer's disease. When you think of inflammation, you might think of the redness and swelling that occurs when you have an injury or infection. That's acute inflammation, and it's a normal, beneficial immune response. But chronic inflammation is different. It's a low-grade, persistent activation of immune cells that causes collateral damage to healthy tissue. In the brain, chronic activation of microglia leads to the release of inflammatory molecules like interleukin-1 beta, interleukin-6, and tumor necrosis factor alpha. These inflammatory cytokines damage neurons directly, disrupt the blood-brain barrier, impair synaptic function, and create a vicious cycle where neuronal damage triggers more inflammation, which causes more neuronal damage. The ALA in flaxseed has well-documented anti-inflammatory properties. It works through multiple mechanisms. First, ALA competes with arachidonic acid, a pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acid, for incorporation into cell membranes and for metabolism by inflammatory enzymes. By displacing arachidonic acid, ALA reduces the production of pro-inflammatory signaling molecules called eicosanoids. Second, ALA and its metabolites can directly inhibit the activation of NF-kappa B, which is a master regulator of inflammatory gene expression. When NF-kappa B is activated, it triggers the production of numerous inflammatory molecules. By suppressing NF-kappa B activation, ALA essentially turns down the volume on the inflammatory response. Clinical studies in humans have confirmed these anti-inflammatory effects. Research has shown that flaxseed supplementation reduces levels of C-reactive protein, a marker of systemic inflammation, in the blood. Studies specifically looking at brain inflammation have found that dietary ALA intake is associated with lower levels of inflammatory markers in the brain and cerebrospinal fluid. Animal studies have demonstrated that flaxseed supplementation can reduce the activation of microglia in brain regions affected by Alzheimer's pathology, decrease the production of inflammatory cytokines in brain tissue, and protect against inflammation-induced cognitive deficits. Let's move on to amyloid beta, the protein that forms the characteristic plaques in Alzheimer's brains. For decades, the dominant theory of Alzheimer's disease has been the amyloid hypothesis, which proposes that accumulation of amyloid beta is the primary driver of the disease. While this hypothesis has been challenged and refined over the years, there's no question that reducing amyloid beta burden is beneficial for brain health. Amyloid beta is produced naturally in the brain as a byproduct of normal cellular metabolism. In healthy brains, amyloid beta is cleared efficiently through various mechanisms including enzymatic degradation, transport out of the brain, and clearance during sleep. But in Alzheimer's disease, there's an imbalance between amyloid beta production and clearance, leading to accumulation and aggregation of the protein into toxic oligomers and plaques. Click on the screen now and watch the next video.